Hello, half-brothers and half-sisters in the CONDIFF family. This video, I don't normally make many videos, and it's definitely, well, not of myself, and so this is bound to be terrible. But I got to thinking that maybe this would be the next step for you to see me actually talking. And this is very strange for me because all of my life I have been aware, well, since I was a teenager, aware that none of the people around me were related to me. So I got really used to that idea, and it was fun for a long time thinking that I could be related to anybody. So, and without knowing who I was actually related to, anybody could be a relative or a parent or an aunt or uncle or whatever. And that was fun. That was fun. But, and then I went through a period where I didn't really care that much about it because it wasn't really a big deal. I know who I am, but I don't know. Last Father's Day, I saw a ad for Ancestry DNA that they're having a sale, so I figured, why not? So I looked it up on the website and ordered the DNA kit, sent it in. In July, I got my results back, and I posted some messages on the Ancestry DNA message center, which is under the account menu, strangely enough, and reached out to people who were listed as first cousins. And then the first person to respond to that was Anita Hanslick. I don't remember her middle name. She is somewhere south of Tucson, in Arizona, and but I have been communicating with her quite a bit, and she really likes doing puzzles and things, and has really been doing ancestry DNA and family trees apparently for several years, and so she was thrilled to death to hear from me, and she said she'd be thrilled to figure out this puzzle, and she first assumed that I was part of her Hanslick Norris family tree. I still don't know who the Norris sides are, and then she figured out. She uses not only the DNA evidence from Ancestry DNA, but also she pays the extra subscription fee. Well, I have membership too, in addition to the DNA test, which both cost separately. But she pays extra for having access to millions of documents and public records. And she loves searching through those and gathering up clues and putting this all together. And then I believe it was in October when I was talking to her on my phone here, the same phone I'm talking to you guys on, but live. And she said she added the CONDIFF part, the CONDIFF family to the family tree, saying she'd only just discovered it that morning. So it hasn't been that long. And then last week I woke up in the morning and got the idea, hey, why don't I look over these CONDIFFs on the family tree and see who's on Facebook and send them a little text saying that, hey, saying that what I said, I'm looking for my half-brother, half the siblings, so yeah. So you know what happened there, and I sent out Christmas greetings to a lot of CONDIFFs. Probably some of them are still at this point wondering, who the hell is this guy? Okay, But anyway, I'm running a stream of conscious thing here, see, as you can see. So I'll, if I meander on, I apologize for that, because I haven't structured any presentation. I just got the idea half an hour ago, thinking about all this, thinking, perhaps I should send everyone a video so they could hear me talk and see me actually alive, rather than just seeing just seeing what I've been texting. Or my still photos on Facebook. But now I forgot where I was. But yeah, by the way, I normally have my beard and hair shorter, business cut, and my beard is normally 3/4 of an inch. But I've neglected that lately, and now I look like Moses or almost a young Santa Claus with a non-white beard. I guess I'm in style for that. I was told recently at a Starbucks, I went and I said, I know I have a long beard here, but really I'm not homeless. And because there was a McDonald's where there was a fellow with a beard and he gets money, Social Security or something on a debit card, and he was there for hours, and even though he was buying food, lunch and dinner and everything, he was homeless. They called the police on him and all, and I'm thinking, I don't want that to happen to me. Because with the long beard, I probably look like I'm homeless. So I explained to the woman at the girl at the counter, and she says, "Oh no, the new style around here is that the cool guys are wearing their hair real short and they have these big fluffy beards." So she says, "You're right in style." So I said, "Okay, thank you, I appreciate that." So anyway, so I definitely am a bit furrier than what I normally am. So, and okay, I probably digress. I'm wandering on here. Okay, it's 7 minutes 15 seconds, and of course, let's see. I'm getting mixed up now because I've talked to several CONDIFF clan members, and who was I? Let's see. Was it Claudia? I was talking. No, I think it was Adrienne. I was talking to this evening, and oh man, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, this is early in the morning. I'm normally on Alaska time half the time. Because my daughters are in Alaska, and if I want to communicate with them, and they're in their 30s and they work and they have children, and so I want to not interfere with their daytime schedule, so I tend to live on a later schedule here in Maryland, which is in sync with Alaska. So that's what that's about. My youngest daughter, Sheena, has some questions about health issues because even though she's like, 32, 33, I know this is terrible of me. It's a long story why they're in Alaska and how that has played out, so, which I'm definitely not going to get into here. Perhaps we should all get together, like at a restaurant, like at the Nautilus or Double T or something, get a table, relax, have something to eat, and we can all talk. And everybody, you guys can grill me all you want, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. I can't say I know everything. I'm really learning now who I'm actually related to. So that to me, this is very weird because, like I said, I have my entire life been accustomed to knowing that I'm not related to anyone that I know, and certainly not so-called family members. And so to actually know people that I'm related to is strange. Now, you might think, what about my daughters? Well, without getting into a lot of detail on that, when I shipped out to Beirut in '83, which was a combat zone at the time, that was the last time I saw my pregnant wife and my oldest daughter, who was still crawling, oldest daughter, Stephanie, and I had no idea where they were for 29 years. So for a long time, I got used to knowing no one who was related to me. And then it was very strange when I when my lady, who's sleeping right now, got in contact with them, and then reinitiated contact, which is good, after 29 years of not having any idea where they were. Okay, I think I spaced that out. They they were in anyway. They're in a. Oh yeah, Sheena. She although they were raised in Alaska, the ex-wife obviously ended up in Alaska with and gave birth to my youngest daughter and my oldest daughter, and I've never have seen them face to face since. And I've texted them and everything, of course, and talked to them. But that's why I'm on Alaska time half the time now. But Sheena, who's like 32, 33, has had congestive heart failure, and she's told it's genetic. But there's no one I know, no one that Anita Hanslick knows, who has had congestive heart failure in the family. I certainly have not. I have a couple of issues going on with me. I have severe spinal stenosis, which makes me wobble, and 7 o'clock in the morning I'm wobbling because my spine isn't as rigid as it should be, and it lifts and slides a bit. And people are probably saying, "Look at that! It's 7 o'clock in the morning. He's drunk already." But I don't even drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. My drug is right here. Coffee, caffeine. That's my drug of choice. And so like I said, I have the spinal stenosis thing going on, and because I've fallen down in a parking lot a couple of times, where I was walking along, suddenly the parking lot reaches up and smacks me in the shoulder, and that was in front of Gary's Grill, by the IHOP and the Goodwill and the Aldi there on in Pasadena, on Ritchie Highway. I'm laying there in the parking lot, low my side, and all of a sudden there's cars coming at me. So the doctor, I go to the VA hospital, who does a real good job here. Fill out the paperwork for me to get the blue placard so I can park in the handicap spots, so the MVA recently sent me a blue placard that says permanent on it, so that's cool. So, and then I have some diabetes, and that's why I was at the eye doctor's earlier today, because it's affecting my eyesight somewhat. I'm a little foggy and distorted in the right eye, not so much in the left eye, so we're taking care of that. It's a very slow thing, and I was diagnosed some years ago by my adopted mother's doctor, that I have environmental asthma. So occasionally that acts up, and then I use an inhaler, and that's that. And with this construction, I can send you some videos of that. And with this construction we have next door, because they're rebuilding the High Point Elementary School for at least a second time, there's a lot of dust in the morning, and you can look over the fence there and see the dust rising up, and they got vehicles running around. 7 o'clock in the morning, beep, 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 beep. The guys arrived there about 6:45, and it's been going on since let's see now, it's right now it's December 13th of 2018, and that's been going on since May of 2017, and it's supposed to finish up in May of 2019 next year. So we have, I'm sure Lil will appreciate this. We do have small animals too. We we had Owie, my lady. Her actual name is Lois, but her nephews and all couldn't, when they were little, couldn't pronounce Lois. So it came out O-E, and it stuck. So everybody calls her Oe, O apostrophe E-E. And anyway, she and I have 18 parrots and a dove. So we have 19 birds. We have 6 cats, a hedgehog, and just yesterday, a good friend of ours, a woman who is really a proxy daughter because she's the same age, same build, almost the same look as my daughters in Alaska, and she has 2 kids the same age as my daughters in Alaska, and like the ex-wife, Jenny, my proxy daughter, is also from Washington State. So there's a lot of parallels there, and so she is my proxy daughter. She calls me dad, proxy dad. Her son, 11-year-old Sam, calls me granddad, proxy granddad, but okay. And she brought by yet another species that Owie has been admiring and looking at and swooning over for several years. And then we went over Jenny's house and saw this little critter, and Owie is in love with the critter. And the next day, Jenny brings over a whole habitat and the critter, and it's a 4-month-old bearded dragon. Or beardy as they call it, and it's a sweet little thing, and it will get bigger, I know. And Jenny said, "Oh, when in a year when it's bigger, I'll bring you the 20-gallon tank." Okay. So we have now. So we have now 18 parrots and a dove, 6 cats. One recently was taken. We took in because it was feral, and it's still not used to us and the other 5 cats. It still does a lot of hiding. It's got a couple more weeks to go. It takes about 6 weeks for them to adapt, and then in addition to the birds and the cats, we have a hedgehog and a bearded dragon. So we are running Owie's Zoo and Rescue Organization right here in the house. Okay. Another thing about the house is that in 2014, in August 13th, the morning of 2014, we had a house fire, and we lived in an apartment, a studio apartment, for 2 years and 5 months while the house was being redone. Everything had to be brought up to code because it was originally built in 1962, the spring of '62, and in fact, it's a house that my parents bought when we moved out of the city. And I was originally raised in South Baltimore, on 113 West Clement and Clarkson Street, and my parents had the corner store. We lived behind the store, the living room, and actually there was a dining room, but it was a wall was knocked out, and the original dining room was incorporated into the store as the store expanded, and then so we had the living room and kitchen behind the store, and then beyond the kitchen was the garage, which, because it was a corner store, the garage opened up on the side street, which was Clarkson, and that was the warehouse for the store, where like the Coca-Cola guy would bring in sodas and all that kind of stuff, and the Pepsi guy, and they'd wheel in big wooden cases now of sodas and bottles, and then of course we had a couple of dogs, and we had a cat, and but in they decided to have a house built in this relatively remote location in 62, but there was a schoolhouse basically one street over. In front of the house here, there was woods, and then and there was a street right in front of the house, and maybe 400 feet on the other side. The woods was about 400 feet deep, and then there was another road that intersected the road that the house is on, and on that road, overland, was High Point Elementary School. So I just left to walk to school every morning, and that was the original school building that had been enhanced with an extra wing, including a cafeteria and all. But when I was off in the military, they tore that down and built a whole new school facing a 90-degree angle along what's called Duval Highway, but it's just a regular road with a yellow stripe down the middle. They probably call it highway, I'm guessing, because it was probably the first paved road in the area. Because when we moved to this house in '62, the road was gravel, and okay, I'm digressing here, but now they've torn what I thought of as the new school down mostly, and they're rebuilding it, and they've added a new wing in the same direction where the old school originally was, and then what has been a big open field at the school right next to our yard, they're apparently going to be turning into parking lot. So I'm not sure how we feel about that. We'll see what it looks like and if the parking a lot affects us here in the yard or anything. So anyway, so we get a lot of construction dust, and that's been activating my asthma a little bit lately. So I've been using my inhaler once in the evening, but I haven't used it in a really long time. But anyways, so those are really the three things going on with me. Is that I got the spinal stenosis, some diabetes, which is beginning to affect my eyesight, which is why I was at the doctor today, and then the occasional environmental asthma. And now, does anybody else in the family have any of those? Is the question. Does anybody else have the congestive heart failure situation that Gina has asked about? So that's bringing you more up to date on my health issues and what I've been wondering about heretically and what is inherited. Did anybody on the CONDIFF side get that through the Hanslick line from Margaret Diane Hanslick? Because apparently it doesn't exist on the McGlynn side from Donald James McGlynn, my birth father. So that's the question I have about that. Anyway, we had the fire in 2014. The house has essentially been we basically redesigned it, rebuilt it inside. So it's essentially all new. Everything's up to code. All the windows now are energy efficient. It's a very energy efficient house now. There was good insulation in here before, but now the insulation is even better. And we got rid of the old oil heating system, and we have an HVAC system. So overall the house has been improved, and even though it's relatively small, we got everything in here. Of course, it's not like the 330 square foot shoebox apartment, which was really tight. And now with the house after the fire here, we when we cleaned it out, we pulled out enough to fill 6 of those big dumpsters dropped off by the big flatbed truck that they wheeled down into the yard. We went through 6 of those, and we also filled 6 pods of stuff in the yard, stuff that we were not trashing, stuff that we were keeping. So the basement right now is kind of organized like a warehouse. That's because of business efforts, and we have a lot of stock of model trains and die-cast cars and things like that down there, which brings me to another thing. I've done a lot of different things. I'm not just one thing. I tend to see myself as a bundle of resources. Because as I indicated, and as you probably know from my text and Facebook, I was definitely in the military, 11 and a half years, and then reserve time. I keep forgetting to tell people about the reserve time when they ask me. And then I supported myself and then OE as well as a photographer, doing professional photography when I got out of the military for years. 20 years or so, and then we were doing stock photography. Then when stock photography became easily available on the internet, royalty-free photography, that put a big dent in our stock photography business. So we decided to pursue one of my hobbies, one of the things I have loved to do since I was a child, and that is model trains. So we decided to become a model train dealer, along with accessories. Now, my particular scale is large, what we call large scale, which is 1/24th scale. To put that in perspective, an 80-foot passenger car in real life would be 40 inches on the model. Now you figure that you have 10 of those to make up a train, and then you have 2 or 3 locomotives up at the point. How long is that train going to be? I won't. I know the answer, but I'll let you figure it out. And obviously, they were originally intended to be run outside. So it's called garden railroading is the thing that I like. Although I haven't been able to actually put any trains in the yard yet. But we have a 100-foot square, 100-foot by 100-feet yard. So that gives me, except for the area where the house is, about 10,000 square feet to put down track and trains. And we were going to, before the fire, we were going to do some radio shows on WCBM. And we're going to do with OE being the main person and me being her sidekick, we're going to do something called Parrot Talk. And then for half an hour, and then the next half hour was going to be me as the main guy, and then her as the sidekick, and we were called Track Chat. But then we had the fire, which put all that on the back burner. So I've done a few things, and things have been interesting, but. Okay, I'm not sure where I'm going with this now. Like I said, it was a train of consciousness. This is going on for 28 and a half minutes now, so I'm probably boring you to death. And so I've probably said enough for now, and at least it will get a continuation of our dialogue. And then, of course, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to text me. And we'll go from there. And like I said, we should all get together. Who was it? Adrian, I think, and Michelle said, it'd be great for us to get together sometime, and that's a good idea. So it'll be fun. So I will talk to you later. If I get stimulated to do another rambling on video like this one, I will. Do that as well. Okay, so for now, have a good night. I'm going to drop a text or two to my daughters, and I will see you then. All right, bye-bye now.